Friends of the old world, how are you? It's been a strange few years. Let's just put it that way. Full of very strange moments. The old world is dying. It's been dying for some time. It premised itself on the material, on parasiticism, war, greed, hunger, and ultimately progress. And we were its captors for so long that in the West and a lot of the world and in globalization, we renounced our connection to the Divine Mother, to Earth, to our beginnings. But, contrary to what you see, there is hope. There are mountains of hope, oceans of hope, and it comes in the shape of a new world. Now, I don't mean a new world order, whereas we outsource our happiness and our living, like we have been, to a global faction of ruling classes and oligarchs and the bourgeois, those that collect our checks and say we should be grateful for it. No, I'm talking about a new world order in terms of a new world, whereas we use energy the way in which we once did, that our ancestors did, where we cultivate the mind, where we come back into unity with the chakras and the energy systems that compose inside of a human being. And no longer do we look to the heavens for answers or the stars, but we begin to do what ancient people always knew, which is begin to walk the path of the soul, back to the source energy which resides inside of you. The cosmos is in you. And the answer is not to be outsourced out here or dig under the earth to try and find these results and these great revelations. No, it is strictly not a material progress or process, but it is an immaterial process, that which comes back to the spirit or the divine essence of which it means to be alive at all. And this will be the revolution. It will come back to, on an evolutionary timescale, we've seen the growth of human civilization. We go through us coming for thousands upon billions of years of being in the forests of the world, to then agricultural revolution, industrial revolution, technological revolution, and now the birth of artificial intelligence and all of these other factions of almost distraction, you could say, from that which is truly important in this life, and that is coming to know yourself. Know yourself, therefore, to know that nothing is separate and every moment is connected, and all there is this one instant that is constantly replaying itself, resounding itself in the greater universe, and it can be linked to creation, that which is the creation that sits on top of everything, or the source energy of consciousness, or God, or we have many different names for it. But now on an evolutionary timescale, we see the individual has the ability of an evolution that is not at the whim of the collective, and will not see itself through thousands of years, but in a lifetime, in a moment, we can revolutionize ourselves by coming back into harmony with thyself, because we are just as this. We are a composition of the same elements. We are this that sits next to me, this ray that burns forth into the camera. And we have shifted in a cosmological sense. We have shifted into the age of Aquarius. Check this out really quickly. I say that, as I mentioned cosmic, there's the moon. Okay, back to it. We have shifted from the material to the age of Aquarius, which means that we come back to harmony, to brother and sisterhood, to truth, to peace, to all of these things that we've been screaming at the global factions that have enchained our world. We've been screaming forever, and now nature will not have our shit anymore, which is to say, we can no longer deny that we are nature, and that exploiting resources is just exploiting ourselves and our connection to the divinity of humanity and all life that exists here in the material plane of existence. But be ready, because things are shifting rapidly on a massive time scale. We haven't seen movements this large where the individual takes responsibility, where the individual becomes accountable for the movement of the masses, where the single greatest thing that anyone can achieve in this lifetime is nothing in terms of success or financial progress or anything that is built or created here, but it is that which to know thyself that walks thy path, and to know that if ye but had faith, you could move mountains. But if ye had faith, you would know why you put the mountain there in the first place. We should be paying homage to this sun every moment of our life here on earth. It was our original God. And if you are man, such as I, our physiological clock applies to completely this entity's energy. 24 hours, and we cannot live without it. Women, a lunar as the moon I look at. They 30-day cycle. We should be tuning ourselves to these certain frequencies again, and coming back into learning that what is for us is out there. What is for us is, yes, the land, but for the most part it is our relationship to ourselves, because we are an extension of the land. You are what you eat, right? So we are just a composition of all of the plant matter, meat matter, all of the matter we have consumed on earth. We must come back to the forests of the world. We must see ourselves unchained and untethered to this global faction of man. We are not slaves to a corporate state. We are incredible divine creatures that chose to be on this planetary system at this time, and we must come back into alignment with that. The path is not easy. It is the single most bravest thing you can ever do in your entire life, but it is the only most important thing that you will ever do in your entire life. Coming back into alignment with that which is, not that which you think, that which you've seen, that which you have been told, but that which you are. That truth that has been forged in the fires of all of cosmos, that has seen every moment of everything that has ever been and existed inside of time. You are that, an extension of that. Now, the most bravest thing you can ever do is to try to begin to know yourself. And that process, you must dismantle everything that you have ever believed or thought to be true, and renounce any notion that truth was yours to begin with. But to see that to be born, everything is unfolding exactly as it is, and it should be, and will always be. And there is only one moment, and that is eternity. And in this moment, we are being posed the question, would you like to become one with eternity? And all of us are saying, nah, just one more moment. What are we waiting for? It is time. The shift has happened, and we must come back to the forests of the world. We must come back to each other. We must come back to these energies, and we must renounce control. And we must say, we must ask, penance to our home and say, how can we continue to learn from the land as our ancestors did? We have become lost along the way, but it is valuable, this information and this occurrence of living that we've had. But it is not to excuse the destruction and the disruption that we have done to ancient ecosystems that exist on this planet. For we cannot do it without our kinship to everything else around us. So we must not continue romanticizing parasiticism and progress and seeing how far we can take it to just benefit strictly the human. We must come back into beginning to see that we are a part of ancient dynamic systems that have been alive much longer than our species had. And these systems are indifferent, and they are way beyond, and they're moving on eons of time, whether we have very limited life courses, you may say. The premise of everything is impermanence, a recyclement of everything. But we must begin to see that the answers lie in nature's harmony, not our own. We can't artificially create something that does not adhere to the molecular design of us as just organic creatures. But if you get anything, or if anyone even watches this video, and if you get anything from it, I just say, go and sit with the instances of your life and draw together a concise story or a big picture that shows to you that there has never not been a moment where you have believed that anything is possible. And even if this world has seemed dried up or cold, that still something whispers under the wing. There is still messages written in the clouds that are telling us that all is exactly as it is supposed to be. And we will come back to a time where we are unified beings that are harmonizing with nature and this earth. But this is a process that will take destroying the old factions of the world and creating new ones that don't hide truths or try to get away from the heart of things, but rather come back to a perfect divine order, the first laws of thermodynamics, of everything, the laws that were given to us inside of our bloodline, that were passed through thousands of years of watching the sun and the moon. And be brave, because you cannot be bored. It's the most exciting times we've ever seen, and we are the new storytellers of Earth. Now, come and join me. Come and join me in beginning to see that there is nothing we need to do but love thyself and ignite the reckless inner God, that which you are. Everything you've ever wanted to be, you can be. And the only thing that has stopped you is walking through the door.